It's me, MLB. Here is the king of the spoopy season himself, Halloween Michael Jackson. And he is paired with a gender-fluid listener in this miniseries. Listener can effortlessly switch between male and female looks because of their androgenicity. Did I say that right? Androgenicity. Their androgenicity. Their androgynous look. The only hint I give as to their assigned gender at birth is by what I call them when Muzan calls them by name. I'll see if you pick up on it. Listener in this story is a massive simp and extremely submissive to Muzan, so as well as being blind to their situation. So if you don't like helping the baddies, then don't listen to this one. Listener also doesn't know about the true reality of the world and has never met a demon before. Just a heads up. Listener is also around the age of 25, 26. Muzan, as said in the Wiki Fandoms page, was 20 years old as a human when he was turned into a demon and is now about 1,000 years old as a demon, so I don't even know where to go with that one. The lines get very blurred when there are interspecies, interkind relationships, but Listener is an adult. Just wanted to clarify that. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to it. This is Ni Sasowarete, or Lured By or Invited By. Enjoy! It had been years, but you'd never forgotten him. There had been many seasons of life, but his name and image had never left your mind. You hadn't known where he had gone, but you'd hoped that you would see him again. And then one night it happened. You glimpsed him while you were dressed up in full Sakura Yakata, walking through the busy streets of Asakusa. It was around the marketplaces there, and it was busy, and the place was alive with tourists and locals alike, all out to have a good time. He looked a little different to how you had remembered him when he had lain pale and weak in his bed, but you were sure it was him. As soon as you had recognised him, you'd paused, clutched your hand to your chest with delight. Somehow he had felt your eyes on him, and he turned and looked directly at you, before giving you a small smirk and turning away. "Muzan!" you'd called loudly, but he had gone, vanishing into the dense crowd that night. You continued to look for him that night, but your efforts were in vain, and you didn't see him again. Despondent, you left and went home, your mind wholly fixated on him. The following night, you felt drawn to go back there again, in the hopes that you'd find him. Feeling your more masculine energy swirling internally, you pulled on your baggy jeans and chains and threw yourself back into the throng of people milling around the Asakusa marketplace, hands deep in your pockets as you sauntered around. "Hey!" a girl called out to you as you made to go past her. "Hey, wait!" she called as she grabbed you on the arm to get your attention. "Hey, are you with anyone tonight? You're super hot. Come and hang with us." You looked at her and then past her to her two other girlfriends standing a little way off. "Nah," you said in a cool, chilled voice, complete with smirk. "I'm meeting up with someone tonight." "Aw," she pouted. "Who, girlfriend?" "Something like that," you said with a shrug, before moving your arm to get her to let go of you and walking off. "That was the hottest guy I've ever seen," you heard one of the girlfriends say, just before their voices got drowned out by the other excited voices chatting around them. Onwards you walked, keeping your head down a bit, but your eyes were actively working, darting left and right, trying to spot him in the crowd. The hours wore on, and you had exhausted every main street, every side street, and mostly every nook and cranny in Asakusa, but still you didn't see him again. With a sigh, you let your shoulders slump, and you turned to head down a side alley to make your way back to your apartment, not noticing how dark and quiet that alley was. You were so into your own mind that you didn't notice someone ahead resting back against the wall of the building until you were almost level with them. "Sorry," you said in a soft voice as you went to step around them, but they stepped into your path, and that's when you looked up. Staring back into your confused gaze were the almost glowing red eyes of the man that you'd been searching for. At first you were a little startled. Then, when a car went by and the peripheral glow of their headlights lightly illuminated the alleyway for a second, you recognised who was in front of you. "Muzan," you barely said above a whisper. "It's been a long time, YN," he said in a soothing voice. "You look good as always, no matter what state of being you're in." "Where did you go?" you asked, your knees feeling weak as he reached out and gently cupped your cheek in hand, his long pointed nails digging into your jawline and making your skin crawl with delight at how he was touching you. "It doesn't matter. All that matters is that we're together again," he said, looking down his nose at you. "I missed you," you whispered, starting to feel emotional. "I know," he said, still staring into your eyes. "But you're okay now." You're with me again. I don't want to be apart from you again, you said with begging in your eyes and voice. You won't be. You'll help me, won't you? He asked, but it was more like he had already decided on your answer and was merely letting you know what he expected of you. You nodded into his hand. Good, he praised. You'll come with me tonight. You nodded again, and he slowly let go of your cheek, dragging his nails down your soft skin before returning his hand to his pocket. Come, he commanded, as he turned and started walking away, and your legs carried your body after him, keeping your eyes on his back the whole time, lest you look away for a second and lose him again. He took you to a house that had many rooms. It looked like no one had lived there for a long time, but you didn't even think to ask him about it. You knew better than to question Muzan. He had a very commanding aura, and you feared that if you asked too many questions or angered him, he would disappear again. You didn't want that. This is your room, he said plainly, as he stopped outside the sliding doors of one of the rooms there. You bowed silently from behind him, and then stepped forwards and opened the door. It was a large room with a futon already laying on the floor, and as you stepped in, he spoke to you again. Tomorrow, you'll be in feminine form, he stated. Your clothes are in the wardrobe. I have feminine and masculine clothes in there, as well as neutrals. I will tell you what state of being you'll be in from now on. Yes, sir, you said as you turned, with a sustained bow towards him. Thank you. He said nothing more and then closed the door, and your heart started beating rapidly. Oh my gosh, after all these years, I finally found him again. This time I'll do anything for him. Make him wish he never disappeared without taking me with him. I'll be invaluable to him, you thought, walking over to the wardrobe to see what kind of clothes he had placed in there for you. He had chosen a wide selection of clothes for each of the 3 states of being that he had spoken about, and you didn't mind most of the stuff that he'd chosen, thankfully. I think I'll wear something revealing for tomorrow. Really push my feminine side, you thought, as you stripped off and got to bed for the night. Early that next morning, you got up and had a quick shower in your outdoor private showering area, and then donned a tight-fitting, revealing little outfit to show off to Muzan. You tiptoed out into the hall and walked quickly to the door a little way down from yours. Inside you could sense his presence, and so got down on your knees and waited patiently outside his room. You knew he could sense you were there, so you just waited for him to say something. Good that you know your place, he commented from the other side of the door after the longest pause. You placed your hands down on the wooden floorboards in front of you and bowed low, touching your forehead to the backs of your hands. You heard him chuckle a little and take a deep breath in. Your stature pleases me. Enter, he stated. Still with head bowed, you reached a hand out and slid the sliding door of his room open, slowly, and then crawled in, keeping your head lowered as you crawled your way over to his futon. As you crawled, you could feel his eyes on your hips and backside, and you accentuated your hip movements as you made your way over. He reached out and took you by your hair, pulling you over gently but firmly and down into his lap, over the top of the thick doona that was there. You were only too glad to be in that position. Oh, well, you found your man, so stay tuned for, actually, it's going to be tomorrow. I'm running this series, it's just a mini-series just for the spooky season. I'm running it concurrently with the other book that's happening, which is the Kuro book. So I'll see you tomorrow for part 2 of, what is it in Japanese? Ni Sasowarete, Luid. I'll see you then.